Hi everyone, welcome to the Morgan Homestead. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Sandy. Thanks for joining us. Today it is March 9th and we're in Minnesota, but it's 60 degrees. It's extremely warm and beautiful today.
Yeah, really nice day today.
Yeah, so
Actually it was 57.
oh, you told me it was 60.
Over exaggerating again.
Anyway, so Kevin went out to check the greenhouse to see, what that's looking like since we had such a warm day.
It was 57 degrees outside, and in the greenhouse it was 72. So
wow. So that got us thinking, oh my gosh, what are we doing? I mean, we've been so focused on our new cabin build coming up. We had people coming out today to talk about the septic system, and we've been really focused on that. And I looked and started thinking, where are we with our seed starting? We can probably put some stuff out in the greenhouse now that it's warm enough out there. So I looked at my seed starting plan and realized that I'm behind on seed starting. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And then also our eggs. With this warmer weather, we've been getting more eggs. On March, the 4th, was the first time ever. We have 8 hens and we got 8 eggs. So then today Kevin went out again, and I don't know if you can see that, but we got 8 beautiful eggs again. So far this month we've had how many eggs?
We've had 55 total eggs, which is about a little over 6 eggs per day on average.
Which is pretty good. I
mean that's the best we've had.
Yeah, and currently I think I have like 6 dozen eggs in the refrigerator.
Yeah, 6 or 7. We have quite a few.
So I gotta make a plan on what to do with all those extra eggs, but I'm not complaining about that. It's a good problem to have. So I'm gonna show you. Kevin's gonna go off and do some chores, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about seed starting that we're doing, and then I'm gonna, as I had said, I'm going to show you how to transfer some plants from here that we started by seed in dirt into the hydroponic containers that we're going to put them in next. So I'm going to show you that. And what else are we going to do? Oh, and then Kevin is going to show you what we believe is the most important tool on the homestead. And he's really excited to share his new item that he got with you. So he's going to show you that in just a bit. So as I said, I looked at my plan and I had March at the top. So I thought I was on cue to start seeds, but then I realized, or Kevin pointed out I should say, that below that I have some seeds that should have been started in February and some at the end of February, beginning of March. So I'm trying to play catch up here with the seeds. So I started today. I planted broccoli, cauliflower, and celery. And then I was watching another homesteading show, and she was showing how to make sweet potato starts. And I thought I would share that with you. If you're not familiar, we didn't plant sweet potatoes last year, but we definitely wanted to plant them this year. So I thought it was a very interesting segment on sweet potato starts, and I learned a lot. So I took some notes and I decided to show you guys what I learned. So I have a few. I don't know if you can see behind me in the window. I've got quite a few started, and I'm going to show you how to do that. First of all, she said to start them 6 weeks prior to your plant date. So you want to get them, because it's going to take you 6 weeks to get ready to get them in the ground. And you want to plant them in the ground 3 to 4 weeks after your last frost date. The soil should be around 55 degrees. So they don't like cold soil. So you have to kind of figure out when to start them. So we figured out that right about now is when we should start them. Orange sweet potatoes take longer than purple. That's all I'm planting is the orange ones right now. I don't have any of the purple. You need to make sure that you're getting organic. So it needs to say organic right on the package, non-GMO organic sweet potatoes. And the reason that you want organic is because they if they're not organic, they spray them with some sprout suppressing chemicals, and you do not want that because we're trying to grow sprouts on these. So so what you do is you take your sweet potato, you try to figure out which is the large size, and the pointy side goes up, the big side goes down. These are kind of hard to tell which is the big side and the pointy side because they look similar, but I'm going to go ahead and say this is the bottom and this is the top. So you want them to be about an inch into the water. You just stick some toothpicks to hold them in the jar. Whoops. Stick some toothpicks to hold them in the jar. And then you fill up your jar so that the bottom is about an inch in the water. So I'll go ahead and do that. So that's all there is to it. So what's going to happen, it'll start growing roots, and then it'll start growing little slips that will grow out and stick up from this. So I've never done this before, but she said that each potato should yield about 10 to 15 little slips. And then each of those slips you take out and you put those in water, and then those will grow roots. And each of those slips will provide you, that's your actual plant, is the little slips. And then those will each provide about 5 pounds of potatoes. So basically 10 slips from your potatoes should get you about 50 pounds of sweet potatoes. So you'll need to replace the water every couple weeks. When it starts getting dirty looking or whatever, then put in some fresh water. But and then I think it takes about, she said, when the slips are about 5 to 6 inches long, then you're going to pull them out and put them in the water. But anyway, I thought I would share that with you. I've never grown them. I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to start them. So I thought I'd share that with you guys in case you're interested in doing that as well. So I'll plant these two, and then I'll get them all in the window with the other ones. Okay, so I have my sweet potatoes all planted. I ended up with 11 of them, all in the windowsill here, ready to catch some sun. So we'll keep you posted on when those start growing roots. So I'm excited about having sweet potatoes this year. Okay, so then if my math is correct, out of those 11 sweet potatoes, we should yield 15 slips per one, which I don't think we're going to get that on some of them smaller ones. But if we did, we would end up with 165 sweet potatoes, which sounds like a lot, but I mean, I'm sure we're going to end up with less than that. But I'm just excited if we get any. So and people say, well, why are you planting so many? Why are you trying to do this? Well, again, our goal is to be sustainable on everything that we grow. We want to get away from buying boxes and bags of things in the grocery store. We want to get away from pretty much anything at the grocery store other than maybe some basic staples. But I mean, if you've ever taken the time to look at the ingredients on like your box cereals, main ingredients are like cornstarch, corn syrup, refiner syrup. I mean, what's all this syrup and crap in our food? That's what we don't, you know, we're kind of late to the game, but we want to start eating healthier and better. So, and in chips, I mean, we're going to stop buying chips. We're going to stop buying cereals, cornstarch, lactose, all these different vegetable oil, corn, canola oil. All of these ingredients are really bad for you. So we want to stop buying boxes and bags and we want to focus on growing all of our own food. If we want chips, we can make chips out of our sweet potatoes. We can make chips out of our potatoes. We can cook them in some healthy olive oil and season them with some good healthy seasonings. That's our goal. So anyway, now these are the plants that we planted together. I ran out of room to thin a lot of these out. So now I'm going to take some of the larger plants and I'm going to move them into the hydroponic containers like we discussed. Beforehand, I mixed up a gallon of the hydroponic solution, and what that is, again, what we've got is the calcium nitrate. For this, we had a half a teaspoon of that. We had a half a teaspoon of the Master Blend minerals, which this one is tomato and vegetable formula, and then a quarter teaspoon of the Epsom salts. Okay, so Kevin was editing our video and he noticed something was wrong.
Yeah, so the nutrients that we're mixing it too thin. Sandy kind of noticed that it was a little too light in color as well, even though she didn't mention it until after. So anyway, I remembered that we got a sheet of that somebody had sent us that tells you, what the nutrients level should be for the type of plants that you're growing in hydroponics. We took out some meters that we have that measures EC and ppm, and I measured it, and it was about half of what it should have been. So I did a little bit of a science project and mixed up some nutrients and figured out what the formula should be. And so for 1 gallon of water, it needs 2 teaspoons of the Master Blend, 2 teaspoons of the calcium nitrate, and then 1 teaspoon of the Epsom salt. And that gives you about 575 for the ppm, parts per million, and an EC of about 1,000, which is right in where the chart said it should be.
So I mean, for different vegetables, you're going to have different ratios. So we can, if you're interested in getting this, someone had sent it to us on Facebook. We can send it out to you if you want to just comment below that you're interested in that,
and maybe, I don't know, you can give us your email address or whatever if you want that.
Sure. So yeah, and we try to keep it very simple. This is only our 2nd year in hydroponics, and we're trying to keep it simple. But I also think that, your success in a lot of this is going to depend on whether you have the nutrients right, is what we're finding out. So some of the plants that we didn't have success with last year, it may have been the nutrients were just off. So we're learning as we go, but this is a helpful list to have. So
yeah, I'm very thankful for the person that sent this to us, because I had looked online trying to find something similar to this. So I'm really happy that we got this now.
All goes into the gallon container. You mix that up. I've got a couple jars filled here just to show you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to I'm taking kind of the larger plants out of the dirt, and I will just kind of gently pull them out, trying to maintain the roots as I do. And then I'll dip them in the water to kind of rinse those roots and get the dirt off of them. You don't have to get all of it, but just the majority of the dirt you'll get off of there. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it into one of the net cups. I'm just going to set that kind of down in there. Sometimes I like to get the roots pulled through a little bit on the bottom, and if I do that, I'll just grab like a butter knife and kind of real gently force them through the bottom, and you'll see them starting to come through, and I'll kind of give a little pull to get those roots kind of starting to come through the net cup. So I'll fill them up with these clay pebbles, and I've got my little root sticking out, and then I will put it into the water, making sure that obviously the root is in the water. I want to make sure that I fill this all the way up with the pebbles, and the reason that you want to do that is you don't want any light seeping through these cracks and crevices and getting down into the water. You using these to hold the plant in place, but you're also using the clay pebbles to block out any of the light from reaching the water below. So you don't want algae to grow in there. So then the next step would be, and I made these socks. I showed you how I made these socks that go over the jars in a previous video. We'll tag that in the comments below. But then I would just cover this with the sock, and then I'll set it in a window to get some sun. Okay, so now that I've got my plant in the jar and it's watered, I mean, typically, if I wasn't doing this for demonstration, I would have the sock on here already, but the next thing I would do is just get the sock. There we go. Okay, so now I have the sock covering, well, I'm calling it a sock, sack, whatever. Okay, so I have my plant in the container. It's ready to go. I'm going to move it to a windowsill right now to get some sun and grow. And I'm going to monitor, because someone said they were concerned that it was going to get too hot covered in the black. So I'm going to kind of keep track of the temperature of the water and make sure that that's okay. And I will show you in the next video all of the plants that I've got transferred into hydroponic, and I'm going to label this the date I put it in here and the size. I kind of measure the size so that I can keep track of how it's growing. But so I'm going to monitor the temperature of the water. I have this little temperature gauge here, so I will just periodically put it in and turn that on. You can see that. What is it? 60, 68. It's about 68 degrees right now, so I'm going to make sure that it doesn't get too hot for the plants. If they stop growing, then I might take and cover this with something white to reflect the sun rather than absorb that heat. So stay tuned.
So over the winter, we decided to buy something for the homestead that we think is pretty essential and that most homesteads probably need. So I'm going to go ahead and show it to you now and go over some of what our plans are for it. Anyway, we bought a tractor. There's a lot of uses we're going to get out of this. We do have an old Ellis-Chalmers tractor that did a pretty good job of some of the things that we do around here. But we decided to upgrade, and this is going to come in very handy for us. We do have a mower that goes underneath for mowing the grass around here, a fairly large area to mow, and I think it's going to be a little quicker job with this. We do have a smaller lawn tractor, but this one's bigger, obviously takes a bigger cut, and will speed up the process a little bit. So one thing we're going to actually build our house over here, and that's coming up pretty soon here. So we can use the loader and stuff for moving dirt around, lifting logs, doing that kind of stuff. I also have a pallet fork that goes on the front, so we'll get some use out of that, moving logs around as well. Plus it'll help when I put logs on the sawmill. It'll make nice of that. This one is 4-wheel drive, where the other one wasn't. Right now I just have the ballast box on there, but I do have a back blade. And we will be getting a 3-point garden tiller for the back as well. So we have a large garden area that we're going to be tilling up. We're making our garden larger this year, quite a bit larger. And so that'll come in handy. A lot less back-breaking work. So we're going to get a lot of uses out of this. We can use this. We do have a brush hog, brush cutter that goes on the back. We used to use the other older tractor for that. We may still do that, but if I have the option, if I wanted to and I needed four-wheel drive, we could use this one as well. So this is just going to come in very handy for us. It does have a quick disconnect hitch on the back and a quick disconnect front end loader for the bucket and the pallet forks. So if you have any questions on this, just leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of it. It is used in very good condition. It's what we could afford, so this is what we went with. It is a John Deere 2520, so right around 26.5, 27 horsepower tractor. Okay, so I do have a little bit of shuffling around to do. I need to get the Commander side-by-side back in here in the back and then put the tractor in front of that. I had the Commander in the garage because I was putting a power steering system in it. I do have a video on that. If you want to see that, just let us know in the comments. Didn't know that it would have that much interest on the channel, so we haven't posted it, but I do have video on the process of that installation. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do that swap right now and get the Commander. Alright, so everything's away. So yeah, I don't know, you seen that I was kind of spinning there in two-wheel drive, put it in four-wheel drive, it moved right around. On that other tractor, if you were stuck, you were messing around for a long time just trying to get it to move. But that four-wheel drive sure is nice. The tractor also has power steering, just like the Commander does now, and that is so nice because that old tractor did not have power steering.
So thanks for joining us today. On our next video, Kevin's going to be doing some chicken tractors. We did order some meat chickens, and so we're preparing for those. We have some tough decisions to make on our other chickens, so maybe we'll talk to you about that. But anyway, that's it for today. If you like today's video, please subscribe and hit the thumbs up. That helps us out a lot. And we hope that you'll follow along with us and learn with us, laugh with us, and most of all, love this way of life with us, because if we can do it, so can you. Goodbye for now.
Bye.
I thought it was a very interesting little, what do you call it?
Don't know what you're looking for.
When somebody's showing you how to do something.
Instructions?
On the windowsill here, ready to catch some sun, so we'll keep you posted on when they'll start growing roots. So I'm excited about having sweet potatoes this year. Aren't you, Kev?
You should have said that.
Okay. All right.
I'm not supposed to be in there.
Fine. Everybody knows you're doing the camera. Whatever these things are called. I'm blanking out. These little, what are they called? We'll have to cut this out.
What is it called?
But then I would just cover this with the sock, and then it goes right out into the sun by the window. I'll set it in a window to get some sun. Hang on. Okay, and then the next step will be to put one of my socks whatever. Oh my gosh. Oh. Okay, hang on. Okay, so now I'm done. I have my plant in here. I have it covered up with my black. I can't say black sack. Oh my God. Hang on a second.
So we just fit in. Needs to be 2 tablespoons for the master blend. 2 tables. No, so I gotta start over.
Okay. So thanks for joining us today. On our next video, Kevin's going to be building some chicken tractors and maybe some flower beds or raised beds or
Flower beds?
shoot. Okay, let's do this over.